Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I'm Leon Thomas, and I'm joined by Johnny Maloney and Austin Yorsky.
Happy birthday, Tony Patura! Tony's been a big supporter not only of Word Funk but also of Dice Funk for many years.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I don't want to be one of those douchebags that, like, right at the end is like, "Happy birthday, Tony."
That's fair. I should mention that there are no supporters of Word Funk. They're
Only detractors.
No, I mean, no. Not only does this not make any money, but I would never ask anyone to pay for it. Like, this is not part of a Patreon at all.
If anything,
okay.
it extracts a heavy cost from us all.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I have to take a 12-hour sleep after I do this podcast every week. I just mean insofar as that he enjoys it, and also, I presume, proselytizes for us.
Okay, fair enough. Look, the way my life is, when I hear like a supporter, I just assume the other thing, because that's what my life is like.
You're
part of
the
that's
gig
cool. If you just like the show, then that's fine.
Say happy
and if
birthday,
you do
Leon.
No. But I should also mention, while I'm in this headspace, if you do like the show, make sure to like the show.
Please interact with my metrics, my analytics, the algorithm.
Yes.
Also, Johnny, it's very thoughtful of you to give personalized shout-outs. Anyone who wants to hear me say something very specific, you can literally pay me to say whatever you want on my other show. We have an entire section where people use me as a sock puppet, me and Lauren Morgan specifically. People pay us to just say shit, and it's become like an interactive fiction game. It's very fun. It's called The Credits of Dice Funk.
I used to get that opportunity for free, but then the price got too high, and Austin's now too bourgeois for me.
Yeah.
Johnny's a man of
there
people.
There are a lot of benefits to supporting my Patreon for my real show. One of them is that you appear in the credits, but that's like admittedly a small thing compared to all the other stuff you get. Like, now you can do polls that will control me and tell me what I can and cannot do on my own show.
I'm gonna drive you around like a mech. I'm gonna get right up in those tits. I'm gonna seize the controls, Leon, and I'm gonna pilot you.
Yeah. The first poll was about whether or not I will do a video on The Last Jedi this year, and I'm not going to tell you what the results were. I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you that was a poll, and my biggest supporters voted, and democracy won, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know why we're doing this at the beginning of the show. I'm sorry.
Congratulations on becoming the latest imperialist state of democracy.
Yeah. I'm very sorry that we did this at the beginning of the show. A lot of this is going to be cut.
I think it's actually pretty good. I feel like we should use this.
Is it?
Yeah, because we usually leave that kind of stuff to the end, and it's like, I think the analytics, the metrics show that people just stop listening at that point if you backload all of that. I know for like...
Okay, if we're front-loading then, I just want to say that I don't have a Patreon, but I do like hugs and also seafood.
I feel like there's like this thing in podcasting where if you do like a specific ad break, we don't do ad reads obviously, but a lot of podcasts do. People just skip over them, so they've tried to like this new strategy where you like spread them out throughout the episode and try to like weave it naturally into the conversation. I listen to a lot of podcasts, in case you can't tell. So you have to get sneaky about it. We can't just do it at the end.
Yeah. Just to be clear, there is no money to be made from Word Funk. That is why it is not,
for the third time.
That is why not only is it not on my Patreon, but like the very idea that I would spend money to make the show bigger is nonsense to me. Someone on my Twitter, who is a very nice person and only meant well, replied to me saying that there's kind of like there's sort of like a soft relaunch of Renegade Cut coming this March, where aesthetically it will look different and better. And also, the average episode will be longer. And the person replied with, are you putting everything on iTunes and Spotify now? And I was very confused because that's not a place for this show. And then he said, no, I meant... Then he said, no, I just meant Word Funk. I'm like, no, that's nothing.
That's nothing. But you know what isn't nothing, Leon?
What's that, Austin? Is it Audible? The website?
You asshole! That was definitely gonna be my joke, 100%. You son of a bitch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was actually gonna say Wendy's.
Johnny...
I was gonna talk about their delicious square burgers, but yeah, the joke was that. You got me.
All right. So anyway, I'm sorry about all of that in the beginning. None of this show is planned, so I apologize if it sounded like we were all, like before the show. We were like, let's plug our stuff.
Happy birthday, Tony.
That didn't happen. Yeah, we were just talking about like a nice fan who is apparently having a birthday.
It'll be on, I believe, Thursday, so it will have happened by now. But even still,
yeah. Time is relative. Anyway, so I have one thing to talk about this week, and like I'm very sorry about that, but like sometimes I have a full week full of stuff, but none of it's like funny or interesting. Like I went to see The Favorite and If Beale Street Can Talk, which are great movies, but there's nothing funny to say about them, and I don't have any fascinating insights at this time, except that I think they're two of the best movies from last year that I just didn't get around to seeing until this year.
Lack of content and lack of comedy have never stopped us before, but it's really sweet that you worry about that.
Right. I don't want to do I don't want to do a movie review like right now. They were good. That's it. I do want to talk about how much Bandersnatch sucked because we didn't do that. And I know you two guys are the Black Mirror guys.
I know I'm the Black Mirror guy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were actually, like, first to the Black Mirror craze. Like, before it was even on Netflix, Johnny's like, oh, there's this obscure British show by a guy who used to be a video game journalist. And he brought it to us. We were, like, first adopter. I combined adopter with hipster. That's what you are. You're an adopter.
That's actually, you know what? That's a great portmanteau.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did start while watching it around the same time, but am I the only one who hates it?
Oh no, I stopped watching like I don't know, second season.
Oh, okay.
I think it has good episodes and bad episodes, but the bad ones were getting so bad that I just stopped.
I have cooled on it. You know, like I'm sort of like, yeah, I still enjoy it, but you know, for first season I was like, oh my god, you guys have to watch this. Now I'm more like, it's interesting.
Yeah, the first two episodes are still the best. The one about the pig fucking, which exposes basically our media environment, and the second one with the people riding the bikes, which is about, you know, class and economics. And anything else they've ever done has been outright bad or just like, oh, I'm glad they put gay people in this.
I don't know. I still like the social media one.
I vaguely remember that's the one where like people get blocked IRL.
No, I'm talking about the one where you know you get the social
stuff.
rating and the woman going to like the wedding and things like that. And...
Oh, also the John Hamm one, was that like a Christmas special? That one was good.
Yeah, but I mean that kind of required a knowledge of the whole first season to actually.
Also, as a lot of it was just John Hamm, who is fun to watch regardless.
I want to go ham on ham.
So Leon, snatch my bander.
Oh, it was bad.
Sorry, no, I should have said bander my snatch. That's way funnier.
It is. And I'm not going to go back and edit.
No, it's good. It's funnier just that everyone can see me being bad at this.
No, it's okay.
No, it's fine.
Austin, because I'm going to snatch you.
Okay.
Oh my god. It's a lot. No, so I watched it because basically I think I just watched it so I could talk about it on this show. I need content. So I watched it, and I've never had a more like revolting movie going experience like in recent memory. I think in addition to here, there's a couple problems with Bandersnatch. In case you are unaware of it, Black Mirror new episode is sort of interactive. It's like a choose your own adventure kind of novel, and in fact, the story is about a guy making a computer game out of a choose your own adventure novel, and you are also doing that. There's two problems. One is that it's not interactive enough to feel like a video game, and too interactive to feel like a movie. It did not find that Goldilocks zone if in fact that exists.
So is your problem with the format then, or the content?
It's a bit of,
I guess.
Well, that all right. I'm sorry, but that is the content. The format is not just like a gimmick they attach to it. It's very much part of the story. Like the idea.
You could almost say the medium is the message.
Yeah. Okay. The point is that it is
Austin,
inherent in it.
If only you could hear me shaking my head.
Okay. So here's the thing. In addition to it just not being fun at all, that's a pretty big thing. So in addition, like I said, in addition to it just not being engaging in any significant way, I did not appreciate being a character in the story. I think that they thought that I would appreciate that and that it would be like that would make it engrossing, but I didn't find that to be like respecting me as an audience. I felt like that was flattery. And I just don't like that feeling at all. It made me feel kind of gross.
Breaking news! Leon hates video games!
No, that's literally not what I said, but okay.
I mean, it is a video game. It's a story you have control over, which would have, I mean, this would have been novel in like the Dragon's Lair era.
Yeah, it's a movie simulator.
I mean, Charlie Brooker would know too. He used to be a video game journalist. He's fully aware he made a Dragon's Lair.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I didn't like it. I didn't think it had any real respect for me as an audience member. I don't want to speak for the entire audience of this show. I'm sure tons and tons and tons of people have seen it, and maybe even enjoyed it. But I found it like a not just an unpleasant experience because I think that's part of the point of watching pretty much any Black Mirror episode, that there's a kind of grossness that comes out. We mentioned the pig fucker episode. I just didn't find it clever. I in a way that are like, I see the point they're making, and that is clever. You really drew me in. I was like, no, I just want this to stop. It's not fun.
Do you know that this is not Netflix's first kind of like interactive viewing experience, though?
Never bothered with anything else.
Yeah, I was actually, after you were done talking about the content, I was going to be like, this is actually part of an initiative. They partnered with Telltale to put Minecraft Story Mode on, which was a video game you can buy on Steam, onto Netflix.
I've never heard a sentence that is worse. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So Netflix has been experimenting with the idea of like interactive storytelling for a little bit now, and it seems like it's successful like engagement wise. I think Bandersnatch and the Telltale stuff has been successful, although Telltale falling apart, I don't know how much that has affected things behind the scenes, but yeah, there's a lot going on where people are trying to explore the space. But I think whether it's successful or not, we have to all agree that none of the stories are good.
that's kind of an issue.
Video games are trash.
So yeah,
I mean, we all know that, right?
My God.
except for
Austin,
System Shock 2.
Okay. Austin, did you watch/play Bandersnatch?
No, I did not. Not the last episode of Black Mirror I saw was, I think, the John Hamm one. I didn't watch I think I watched the lesbians one after that, I think. But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it.
One. Okay. Johnny, am I alone on this one? Am I the only one who decided to watch the show that you guys like more than me?
It's on my list, okay?
That's okay.
I mean, another interesting wrinkle to this, because I have been following it as a pop culture curiosity, because I do think it's fascinating for a bunch of reasons, both video game and streaming television related. But are you aware of the lawsuit that Netflix is now embroiled in because of it?
Yes, the Choose Your Own Adventure creators.
Yeah, Choose Your Own Adventure is not just a descriptive term, it is a trademarked brand. And apparently Netflix used that phrase in some of their advertising, which is now the center of a lawsuit. The Choose Your Own Adventure people, who are still out there doing their thing, have sued Netflix over Bandersnatch. I assume this will get settled because they have a pretty good case, and Netflix probably just wants to get this to go away, but as far as I know, it's still ongoing.
I'm actually look. I personally did not know that was like a coveted term, but I'm not the one who made a movie and advertising based on it. You would think they would know.
Yeah.
I
mean, their lawyers probably literally just didn't know.
It's an interesting case in the sense that it has become so embroiled in sort of verbal culture of everybody just being like, yeah, it's like a choose road adventure. That
I mean that's a possible trademark defense, right? Is that it's become common usage. That's why people talk about like what was the other one Nintendo did? Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. They tried to trademark, and that was the whole thing.
But
yeah, I didn't know they tried to do
but
that. But okay.
This is where someone digs up the Word Funk episode where we talked about it and posts it. They're like, Leon.
And I'm sorry, but like, come on, like I'm not going to remember that, especially if it's about a video game. So,
got him.
Anyway, that's more or less all I wanted to say about that.
I mean, speaking of weird lawsuits, Leon, did you hear that the Pinkertons still exist and are suing Rockstar? They're suing Rockstar over their portrayal in Red Dead Redemption 2, in which they are, as they were historically, murderers.
Yes, Austin, you might be surprised to know that I knew the Pinkertons still exist.
Tell me why.
Because they show up in the books of Raymond Chandler.
When are those set? Like, yeah, I know they existed, previously, but I don't think people knew they were still operating in 2019.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they happen in the 1960s and shit like that, and I haven't read an article yet that said millennials are killing the Pinkertons, so I just assumed that they were still going on.
Yeah, they're owned by, I'm going to get this totally wrong. It's like a European company that they're like a private security firm. I want to say in like the Netherlands. That's wrong. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. And
we can just be
We're so good at
Scandinavia.
It's over there. And they basically said in the lawsuit, they're like, it's defamatory the way that they're portrayed in Red Dead Redemption, and how are they supposed to explain to their kids when they're portrayed as bad guys who murdered people?
Right.
And it's like, they did though.
I mean, like, far be it from me to shame an American for slavery or being rebellious against the monarchy, or myself for being a Commonwealth citizen of the British Empire, because we never done nothing wrong.
Now that was a sentence. That was like a run-on. There was 3 clauses and a semicolon. It took me on a journey, and while I looked it up, and they are Swiss. The company that owns the Pinkertons is called Securitas AB, and they are in Switzerland.
Good for you, Switzerland. I bet you're enjoying a lot of gold.
Okay, well, that's all I have on that one. God, Johnny, just off the fucking top ropes. Every time.
Not just off the top ropes. I'm gonna do a fucking triple somersault.
Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Nope, I'm wrong. God damn it. Okay, Securitas owns and operates a Protectus AG in Switzerland, but they are owned by a company in Stockholm, Sweden. So
still,
man,
cheers to the Swiss.
People keep trying to make those comments, hear me correct myself, have to erase them, I get it wrong again, they type them out again, I correct myself again. I knew I'd get there eventually. There's only so many countries in Europe.
Actually, less every day.
Okay.
All right. I unfortunately the well has
Leon,
run dry for me.
Leon, the reason why I didn't watch Bandersnatch is because I was chasing you. All right. Do you know what I watched this week? Titans.
What did you watch? Oh, okay. I mean, I watched 2 episodes of it, but tell me about it.
You definitely had the tone in your voice that said "Go off, King." You're like, I didn't watch a bit.
Tell me what you thought about it, Johnny, because I couldn't deal.
The early episodes are cringe. honestly, there are some good character arcs in there. The girl who plays
Okay.
Rachel is terrible. Um,
Mm.
she's awful. But yeah, there's actually, the whole like fuck Batman thing that we talked about. There
Yeah.
comes a point in the series where Grayson actually kind of like has to confront himself whether or not he blames Batman for who he is, or whether or not he's holding on to trauma that he has to let go. And it's like it forms out in the end. Mostly a strong cast, I gotta say. There's a really, really great episode where they bring the Doom Patrol into it.
Yeah, they're spinning that off.
I know. But it holds together as a season pretty well.
Okay. I do not have
Yeah,
patience.
I know that
for...
about it. That like 2 episodes is a stretch for you.
I have other shit to do. There are too many good shows on
Yeah.
TV. But I see what you're saying. It got better.
Yes, it develops quite well. So
Right.
like
Fair enough.
fans of superhero shows might enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, if only there was other
I-
superhero content that I could enjoy.
Sorry, Austin.
So it's so dry out there.
Yeah. Goddamn desert.
Before I talk about what I've played or watched or whatever, I have a whole list here. There's a news story, and I'm looking through the questions. I didn't see anyone ask about it, but I figured they would, and listen.
I'm rubbing my hands, getting ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, whether or not you're interested in the audience. Too bad, you're in my circus now. So there's a man. There's a man. His name is Randy Pitchford.
I only kind of know who that is, but go ahead.
All right, hang on. I need to put my mic on mute. Hold on. Here we
No,
go.
listen. Your laughs and squeals of delight will add a lot to this, I think, Johnny. Although it's going to be a little bit strap in, Leon. So Randy Pitchford he is many things. Most notably a video game CEO. He is the head of Gearbox. He's also an amateur magician.
Quite a magician, apparently,
Oh.
because he can make plenty of things disappear. Except
Yeah. I don't even know if he's amateur technically. I think he might do gigs.
Look-
He's very passionate about magic.
All right,
That's great.
hang on.
Is it? Anyway, so he's got...
That sounds in and of itself. That sounds so wholesome.
Oh, Leon, you're gonna love this.
But I assume it's not if you're all laughing and talking about it on this show. So
Leon,
tell me what's going on. Okay, just tell me what's going on.
Okay, so Randy Pitchford, he was pushed out of working with Valve. He worked on like a bunch of mods for Half-Life and Counter-Strike and stuff. That's where he got his start. He started Gearbox, and he most notably started the Borderlands series. Huge success. I think one of the fastest-selling new IPs of all time. Catapulted him to astronomical success.
Of which the first game is terrible.
We can talk about that in a second, but
Fuck
he's
you,
a multi-millionaire. Then he has a couple of projects in a row that go very poorly. Duke Nukem Forever, which is extraordinarily bad.
Don't say it.
Unbelievably bad.
Don't say
All
it.
right, I did not hate my experience with that game,
Austin.
but go ahead.
And then
Don't say it.
Then Aliens Colonial Marines.
You said it.
Which is not only super bad, but which there's an ongoing question mark lawsuit that he may have embezzled money in regards to that game. So it was published by Sega, and they gave a bunch of money for the production, and then the game was drastically lower in quality than even it looked at trade shows, and there's some allegations that he may have taken that money to use on the Borderlands series instead. I actually don't have in front of me like where that is in the process. Maybe it was settled out of court.
There's another studio like wrapped up in it as well.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Bad games are bad. Fine. But there's like a pattern we're building here. All right. So he's making these bad games in a row. He has maybe questionable legal stuff. And then he keeps getting into fights with journalists, most notably like Jim Sterling, who's on camera, like talking mad shit about, accusing him of being a liar and stuff. Like he's
having
getting
boners.
Yeah, he said he had a hard-on for him. He's like starting to become a more divisive public figure. Then more recently, a lawyer at Gearbox gets fired, and their official reason is because he was using the company credit card improperly for personal expenses. Okay. Then that lawyer sues Gearbox, alleging that Randy Pitchford ordered him to embezzle $12 million that was supposed to be for developer bonuses and put it in like a shell company for Randy's own uses. Which sounds bad, but this guy was just fired. Maybe there's, it's just like a revenge thing.
Bad blood,
but if you read the
sour grapes. Could be.
But if you read the complaint, the lawyer goes on to allege that Randy Pitchford, in addition to embezzling that money, also lost a USB drive with sensitive company documents and child pornography on it.
Oh.
Now, you say to yourself, this story can't get any wilder.
But it does.
Where does magic come in?
Oh, Leon, you're going to love the twist on this. The story was published. I think Jason Schreier at Kotaku broke the story when the lawsuit was like made public, saying like, here are these wild allegations out about Randy Pitchford. Can you believe what he's saying? And some person, I think it was just like people in the community say, hey, actually, Randy was on a podcast last month where he talked about losing this USB drive. Mm-hmm. Here he is. Here's the audio of him losing this thing. He talks about it.
Of all places.
Oh, this is a good detail.
Medieval times.
At the restaurant where the people who work there dress up as like knights and stuff, and there's big legs of like mutton or whatever. So that's a great juicy detail.
I went once.
So here's Randy's version. He says, first of all, it's not child pornography. And let's I know that's a really gross detail, but like let's get this out here that appears to be a miscommunication. As he says, this person was a cam girl who was totally legal and everything, and it's fine. And it wasn't even for sexual gratification purposes. Although on the podcast he says he is an aficionado of such pornography. The reason he saved it to this USB drive with sensitive company secrets was because he saw this cam girl do, I'm just going to have to say it, boys, such...
She squirted.
It was so impressive.
She had a female ejaculation.
That he said to himself, this is an extraordinary magic trick, and I need to study it for my act. And so he saved the video to this USB drive, which had documents pertaining to all the big publishers in the video game industry. Then he took the USB drive to Medieval Times, the theme restaurant, and left it there, where it was found by, I guess, the wait staff. This person took it home, saw what was on it, contacted Gearbox, and because it had all these secrets, like non-disclosure agreement stuff with, like, presumably, like, Sega and 2K, the publishers that Gearbox works with, the lawyers had to get involved, including this guy who got fired. At which point, Randy took the drive back before legal could get their hands on it and ordered a copy destroyed.
Okay,
Magic!
I just if I could just pause here for a second. That particular magic trick is the exact kind of thing that would make Mitch Pileggi's dick detonate. It'd be like Wile E. Coyote pushing down the plunger. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean that's where we are right now. It went from the wild speculations about a divisive industry figure to discovering audio of him discussing this thing that seemed too weird to be true, and then
his defense that it was like, yeah, it was research.
How? Wait, can I? I just have a question.
Sure.
Just I'm not not trying. Look,
Yeah.
I'm saying this in good faith in the sense that I do want a legitimate answer. This isn't just to be funny. How good can you be at squirting?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I don't super know a lot about it. Like, is it a distance thing or is it an aiming thing?
I think it's a volume thing.
Oh, okay. So it's just like, this was so good. Here is everything that's inside me.
As far
okay.
as I'm concerned at this point in time, it's a largely unstudied medical issue.
Okay, quote from Pitchford. It's a woman who is masturbating, and when she has some experience that appears as if she's having an orgasm, a huge amount of fluid comes out of her vagina. This is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician.
Okay. Does he provide a link?
For magic's sake.
All right. Gentlemanliness aside, I have had sex with someone who, I have had sex with a woman who ejaculated.
Okay.
It happens.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was gonna be more.
No,
it sounded like this was the start of something. Like you were gonna be like,
it's not magic. Sometimes
right, just discharge.
It just happens. Pitchford.
Yeah, it's just discharge. Okay, but clearly she's a professional at this and can do things that like the average woman cannot.
This is the thing: is that sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. Some people are more predisposed to it, others aren't.
Sure.
So it's not a case of just being like, "Wow, how did she do that?" It might be.
I can't believe we're going to get fucking comments about squirting on our podcast. I'm sorry. People are going to try to correct us, and I'm so sad.
No, like, bodies work differently, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Just because someone's like, I've never squirted in my entire life, therefore it's impossible.
Okay. So I Googled squirting.
Yeah, you sure did, bud.
Congratulations to your Google optimistics now, Leon.
Right. It's whatever. The first result is just a link to pornography.
I bet.
And the second one is an article, I assume a scholarly piece, called Squirting, Holy Grail or Fairy Tale. By the way, that's kind of redundant.
That was good.
Yeah. I'm not going to read it. That was it.
Look.
Okay, cool.
I've seen it happen. I
don't doubt it. I'm not someone who thinks women don't come. That's not a thing that I think. That's not.
No, we can't do this. It's actually a surprisingly controversial thing. That's why I was joking about us getting corrections. People actually do have strong opinions about it, and I do not want to get in here because none of us are doctors of any kind.
We all know people who have vaginas, and we've all
but you'd be surprised how much they also like. Once again, this is anecdotal, but I've been with many women who didn't really understand it either. Like it's surprisingly like a concept which is in debate.
That's fair, but never mind. I'll back out of this one.
Yeah, let's get out of here. I just want to say there is one more detail about this story, which was I think it was a vice president at Gearbox when the first article was published by Jason Schreier, who just cryptically tweeted in response to nothing, like not any particular tweet, right? He just tweeted on his own account. It's all true. Now, do you want to talk shit about Borderlands, Johnny? Because you have a spicy take about that series. I feel like you had it in you.
Borderlands 2 was great. Okay? Like, that's... I don't even feel like I need to justify that. It was good. Borderlands 1 sucked balls!
Jesus. People have divided opinions on Anthony Birch's writing for Borderlands 2. A lot of people describe it as like memey. That's like a thing about
but
it.
he's great. Anthony Birch.
Yeah, I'm actually, in response to all this stuff, I fired up Borderlands 2 again. I'm playing it. And I'm surprised by how much I feel like it doesn't hold up. It's like a really rote kind of shooter where it's like, oh, look at all these numbers. And I remember it being like really exciting back in the day, but like the art style isn't like as fresh as it used to be, and the grind on the loot.
But it was better than Borderlands 1.
Yeah, which you notoriously hated. That was a strong hot take back in the blistered thumb days.
It needed it. All right? Like, it needed an axe somewhere in its head. And
Nice.
I was the man to plant it.
Everyone agrees that the story is bad and the ending is hilariously unsatisfying, but I think it is pretty novel for someone to say that they hated the gameplay at the time, which is not a widely shared opinion, so...
It was a bad game.
Okay. So in summation, I don't think Johnny likes any Gearbox games. We don't really like Randy Pitchford as a person, and even if he's not a criminal, seems to be up to some shady shit. Is that the page we're on?
He's also just a goofy-looking motherfucker. And I don't...
Okay, personal attacks.
I don't...
Ad hominem.
You know, like, I don't like to go after people just for the way they look or present themselves. But he's done so much that I feel like that's just kind of like sprinkles on top of the cupcake.
I mean, I don't feel like I have a lot of room to talk, but if I was going to talk shit about somebody's appearance, it would probably be an amateur magician who leaves porn in a medieval time.
You're a handsome motherfucker, Austin. Don't sweat it.
All right.
But
let's.
Yeah, I just found his Twitter avatar. He looks like the irate gamer started some hard drinking.
Fuck, we got his ass, boys.
2 of them, really. All right.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that. It's a wild ride. It's such a weird story. There's so many details, but I'm done now.
What a chump.
Okay. I literally have nothing else. I'm very sorry. I'm playing new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe on the Switch. It's fun. It's you jump. It's, you know.
Yeah, that's how I would describe all the new Super Mario Brothers games. Is like you run to the right and you jump.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. They're all good, but there's nothing to say about it. I have no further comment.
Have you seen the video of someone beating new Super Mario Brothers U without pushing right on the stick?
No, I didn't. How is that done?
By going to the left and kicking off platforms and like using the momentum from that.
Oh,
it's really impressive.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they had to push right on the world map, I think, to advance levels. Like it's like a dozen times. Yeah. But besides that, there's no in-game right presses.
All right.
That's
so
cool.
I watched a show this week.
Okay.
In its entirety, 16 episodes.
Right.
British show called Flowers. And oh my god, you guys, this show is beautiful. Like, all right, so it stars Julian Barrett, who you might remember from The Mighty Boosh, but probably neither of you have seen that.
No. Nope.
And Olivia Colman, who has been in like every British thing in the last 10 years, and she's amazing. She is fucking brilliant. So Flowers, which is on Canadian Netflix, I don't know if it's on American, is one of the most stirring examinations of depression and mental illness I have ever seen in my entire life. It goes from absurdly funny to weepingly tragic in split seconds. It, like, I want to say more about this show, but you really have to experience it as much of a cliche as that is. It is gorgeous and heartwarming and heartbreaking and so consummate. Like it spoke to me in ways that I cannot express. It is a beautiful show. Flowers. It's called Flowers.
Johnny, I love your reviews.
I looked it up. It does appear to be on American Netflix. So.
Watch it.
Okay. Good for us.
Guys.
Good for us.
I mean, speaking of Canadian versus American Netflix, the next topic I have actually has a connection between the differences there. Interestingly enough, I saw the film Annihilation.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, one of the fun facts about its production is that when it was first, focus tested or whatever you want to say, like screened for people, it was very negatively reacted to, so much so that the production, I don't know all the titles involved, but it basically was decided to have a very unusual distribution where it'd be released both into theaters in America and onto streaming everywhere but America. So like it came out on Canadian Netflix when it was in theaters in America.
Yeah.
And it was not financially successful. It was pretty well reviewed by critics, but like the thing behind it is I think there's a quote from like the writer or the director where said like it was too smart for people, essentially, which is kind of a big britches thing to say about your own movie. What do you guys think about it? I feel like you guys have seen it.
It was too smart.
Yeah. I thought it was. I could barely hear you, Johnny, but I'll figure out what you said in editing. So I loved it. I thought it was great. A lot of stuff about trauma, and I was into it. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the show before. If I haven't, I'm sorry.
I feel like we brought it up, and I was like, I haven't seen it, no spoilers. And you just said like,
oh yeah,
I saw it, it was good, and then we moved on.
At one point in time,
Yeah, no.
I said it was the best video game movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
I can see that. I mean, when it was first, like
Austin.
the trailers came out. Yeah.
Stalker.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. And it has a lot of similarities to other things. Like, you could compare it to Arrival, in that it's about, like, a woman dealing with, like, trauma from losing her husband, and then alien stuff shows up, and then, it's a female-led science fiction movie. That's a big connection. When the trailers first debuted, I got a lot of messages from people saying, like, oh, they stole your idea for Dice Funk Season 3, because it's about an area where, like, there's a barrier that's really colorful, and people go in, but they don't come out, which is the premise of Dice Funk Season 3.
Wait, was that what was going on?
Yes. I know you're fucking with me, but also... The funny thing is, when I was like, oh, that's a cute connection. But then I saw Annihilation, and it actually has an even bigger connection, which I didn't know because it's kind of a spoiler. I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, but I will say both Dice Funk Season 3 and Annihilation, they culminate in... There's a lighthouse at the center of the barrier, which is the secret behind the whole thing. That's also a thing they have in common, which is a really weirdly specific detail.
Okay. Okay, I literally did not know that. In a non-joking way, I didn't know that because I think that was it for me. But okay, that's cool.
I'm not gonna fight you on this, Leon.
It's fine.
Although I did check, and Annihilation is based on a book which came out before Dice Funk.
Yes.
So, and I have not.
So
read it.
you stole it, Austin.
Yeah, that's.
You pilferer.
I definitely stole it from a book I've never read by an author I've never heard of.
But there's like,
Yeah.
I mean, right there in the climax of the movie, there is confronting yourself.
Oh yeah, it's thematically. Damn, it really. Okay, we are gonna spoil either Dice Funk or Annihilation. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy similarities. What I wanted to say about this film was that I enjoyed it a lot, and I felt like everything it did pretty much worked for me. The special effects were mostly very good. The acting was very strong. I don't really think of Natalie Portman as like a leading lady. Like I always think of her as like, oh, from Phantom Menace, but like she does a pretty good job.
Oh,
I always think of
she's been
like,
in some good
oh,
stuff.
from The Professional.
Oh, I don't even. I know that's the same person, but I don't think of them as the same person.
Yeah, they can't be. It's weird.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's been in some good stuff. She was in Black Swan, and another thing.
And another thing. Well,
yeah, probably.
she's fine, but I think like for me, I feel like we all need to get on the same page on the fact that Tessa Thompson is the most exciting actor working right now, or like top tier between this Sorry to Bother You and Thor. in which she just fucking kills those movies. I can't like she came out of nowhere as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure she was in other stuff, but like I never thought of her until like this last year, and it's like holy shit, three movies in a row, she absolutely crushes. Incredible.
Yeah, she's gonna be in the new Men in Black movie as well, also with Chris Hemsworth. So yeah, she's getting a lot of work.
Also, I feel like she's dating Janelle Monáe. Did I make that up? Is that my headcanon, or is that true?
I have no idea. I'll look it up right now.
I'm on her Wikipedia page, and it says she's critical of Hillary Clinton and endorsed Bernie Sanders. Fuck yeah, Tessa Thompson rules. Holy shit, this is the best human being. I'm absolutely gonna get milkshake ducked in like a year and a half, because that's how this always works.
Austin,
yeah.
Did you notice the moving tattoo?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, it's a hard movie to talk about without spoiler stuff, right? But
okay, so I googled who is Tessa Thompson dating, and the first thing that popped up was an article on Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
So if they are or they're not, it is apparently something that people think.
It feels like something I would make up. I'd be like, wouldn't it be sweet if these two queer women who are extremely talented artists hooked up, and then it just happens, and my brain was like, well, obviously that you had a fucking mental meltdown and you're hallucinating in a sanatorium in an old bad movie or something. But sometimes real life is just like that now.
Good luck, ladies.
So yeah, I mean, I liked Annihilation. Is there anything we can say without spoiling it?
It was good.
None of us have read the book, right?
No, Poe Dameron's in it
for like a minute. How much did he
Oscar Isaac? Oh.
Yeah, he's in the beginning, and he's at the end.
Yeah,
wait, that's not entirely true. That's not entirely true. There is the main thread of the story, and then there are kind of flashbacks and about her life beforehand, of which he is a big part.
Yeah, there's like some found footage stuff in there. It's like he could have filmed it all in one day, but I bet it probably took longer.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. I watched Annihilation. Very good. Oh man, I've been playing Borderlands 2, which we talked about, and I also played Red Faction Armageddon. Do you guys know that video game?
Yeah.
I played one of them.
Red Faction Guerrilla, I assume.
Yeah, that's the good one.
Yeah.
What was I played Red Faction Guerrilla because it let me throw bombs on things and they stuck to it, and then I like pressed the button and then they blew up and it was fun.
Yeah.
I heard that the other one wasn't like that at all, so I just didn't play it.
Yeah, Red Faction Guerrilla is the third in the series, interestingly enough. The first two are just kind of generic first-person shooters, not that exciting. Guerrilla is the open-world game, which has really cool physics. One of the great anecdotes is that they tried to make the buildings realistic, and they could not stand up under their own power because the physics were like good enough that they just like tipped over or whatever, so they had to make less realistic, scare quotes, realistic buildings, more video gamey buildings to work within their physics engine, which is really robust for the time. It's a really cool game. You can just kind of do all kinds of fun stuff with the hammer and the bombs, making things fall over. But there was a fourth game, which no one really talks about. It came out in, I want to say 2011. I was at E3 when it came out. Like, I was on the show floor, and I was like, wait, we should probably be reviewing this, huh? But no one cared. And there's a reason. I finally played it.
Austin,
I
care.
Okay. I got like every THQ game ever made in a bundle when they went out of business, which is how I own it. For like $2, I got every single one game in their catalog, and I was like, I'll just knock this game out real quick.
I got the same with Telltale.
Oh, pouring out for Telltale. Although apparently they're still didn't the new episode of Walking Dead just come out?
Yeah, but they didn't make it.
Yeah, they got scabs in there to finish it. Long story. Red Faction Armageddon. It sold so fucking poorly. It is, along with like the Draw tablet, like one of the factors in that publisher dying. It is a very bad game, but in some interesting ways. So like they still have the physics stuff from Guerrilla, but it's not an open world. It's a very linear third-person shooter. It feels like it got infected with Gears of War disease, where every game had to be like Gears of War during that era. And so you're always in these really tight corridors where you don't really get to do any cool shit.
Yeah.
Also, instead of a very political game about, it's the red faction, right? Like you're the workers rising up and destroying your colonial masters. There's just these generic Starship Trooper bugs. And that's basically all you fight from beginning to end in the game. They don't have any personality. They don't interact with the terrain in any interesting ways. The story is so bad that with a couple tweaks, I think it could be a pretty good comedy. Like the game starts off with like the villain destroys this terraforming device, which makes the surface of Mars unlivable. And then your character gets this device which can repair any machine. And throughout the whole game you have it. It's attached to your arm and you use it for a lot of, let's call them puzzles. What you do is you point the machine at things that are broken and they become fixed. That's the puzzle.
Right.
But then like 8 hours later, at the end of the campaign, the bugs are overrunning Mars and they're like, they're going to win. We can't do anything. And he's like, what if I fix the machine that instantly kills every bug and makes Mars a paradise again? And they're like, it's just crazy enough to work. And he points it at the thing and it fixes it. All the bugs instantly die and the world is fixed. Why didn't he just do that when it was first broken? Like, literally, there's no plot excuse for why he didn't immediately fix the machine after it broke. He was literally in the building when it broke. Maybe this isn't getting across.
No, it is. Just elicits silence.
The entire plot revolves around a broken machine and a man who has an item which instantly fixes any machine. They're at the same place at the same time, and they never think to combine the two. It's bananas. And there's also one scene which I feel like should go down in history. It should be like one of those, like, you were almost a Jill sandwich. Like one of the famous bad video game scenes where the woman, there's only one woman in the game. You're alone with the woman who you've had a couple, like, catty dialogues with throughout the game where she's like, oh, Marcus, you've really done it again. And he's like, I just have to kill the bugs.
She loves you.
Well, that's the thing. So you finally share some actual screen time with this lady. You guys get out of the walker you're in to fix it. Then they start making out, and then a bug just kills her. Like, literally, like, their lips pull apart, and she's fucking impaled. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
It feels like a parody of the way romance is done in video games, but it's not. It's played 100% straight.
Oh, my.
And that...
I'm sorry, guys.
I was gonna say that, along with all the weird tropes, like you have a woman computer voice in your ear the entire game, because after Cortana and Halo, every video game had that for like literally ever. Like some of that's still going on today. Every game you have to have a woman computer lady voice in your ear talking the whole campaign. It's just like it's almost a really good parody of AAA game design, except it's supposed to be serious.
I'm sorry you had to play that.
I think what the funny thing is, there are a couple good ideas in there. Like, there's some really cool weapons. Like, one makes like a black hole which sucks stuff in, which is pretty cool, especially with the destructible environments. But there's no game to support that mechanic. Like, there's just bugs and you just shoot them and they die. There's no reason to use the cool gun. There's like no cool like settlements to interact with. You're just in tunnels the whole game. There's like a gun that reduces people to like pixels, which is pretty cool. But you could just use the assault rifle. Like, why would you ever use any of the cool stuff? Like, there's one gun where you shoot two things and then they slam together. So you can, like, shoot a big boulder and a bug, and then the boulder and the bug fly into each other and explode. It's cool, but, like, you could just use a gun and just shoot it in the head and it dies. So, I don't know. It's a truly bizarre thing, and, like, I feel like it's slipped between the cracks. I want it to be infamous as, like, the capstone to the era of brown and gray third-person military shooters that Gears of War kicked off. Gears of War, a game I like, but which poisoned game design for like 15 years. But it's, I guess, too obscure for people to properly appreciate its deadly premonition-esque shititude. Red Faction Armageddon is the name of that game, and I am done.
All right. You want to do questions?
I would like to do a question. Here's one. Jade, at Jade the Thief, Jade's our resident doctor of questions, asks, how are you? How are you guys doing? Johnny, Leon, haven't heard about your personal lives.
I'm actually...
Oh, I'm not gonna...
Sorry. Go ahead, Leon.
No, go ahead. No, I have nothing to say. Go ahead.
I'm doing well, actually. very recently, I was prescribed beta blockers to help combat the side effects of the SSRI that I have been taking. And I haven't felt this good in like a year.
Great.
I feel myself again.
Good.
It's weird.
Blocked all those betas out. Now it's all alpha, baby.
Well, nah.
Now you're just
Stop.
you're a Chad now, Johnny.
All right, everyone needs to stop before I die.
Yeah, I should be shamed for that.
But no, I'm happy for you, Johnny. That's cool.
No, it's true though. Like I feel good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still Johnny, so I get
Sure.
my sad days. I post my melancholy Instagram videos, but I'm feeling up to it right now.
All right.
That's dope. We love it when Johnny's happy. Love that, Johnny.
Yep. I'm fine. That's it. I'm
cool.
okay. Nothing. You know, I work and I sometimes watch movies. And that's sort of my life. I you know, that's what my life has been for a few years now. There has been no noticeable differences except that I live in a new city now. And it's good. I like it here. I'm trying to think. I mean, I talk to friends. I don't really date. That's what my life is like. I like it exactly like this. And I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and for everything to go wrong. And, cause it can't be this good forever. It just like statistically can't. So I'm assuming something bad will happen and then it'll really bum me out for a while. But, I'm just going to like hang on, to my life as it is right now for as long as I can, before it gets botched. Yeah. I thought about getting a dating app just for fun, but then I realized that even though I'm nobody, I'm every YouTuber I know has warned me against doing that, because even a like nano celebrity such as myself is just a bad idea. But how did it's just a very, very bad idea to do that. For my own protection. But I mean, I'm glad that's working out for you.
Leon, I'm not going to say who, but a person who has micro fame that I know texted me the other day with a screen cap of whatever their dating app was, with someone saying, "Oh my God, are you the person from the blank?" And it was like, "Oh my God, I'm not even famous. How could this be?" I don't want to put this person's business out there, but it literally came up 2 days ago.
Right. It's not a good idea. And not just for that, but mostly because people who do not like my product will use it against me in some way. I don't care if someone says, "Ew, you're you." I'm like, ugh, no, left.
So people on 4chan will be like, "This cuck said this shit about this movie, and also I heard he has a whack-ass dick."
That's kind of what I'm talking about.
Why do you guys think I sit on my balcony and drink coffee alone?
But I mean, if anything, Johnny, you getting out there in the dating scene might raise the profile of Renegade Cut, because when those DMs leak, people will be like, "You should watch this guy's YouTube channel. His friend has a bomb ass dick."
No. It's all about control.
Oh my God. Oh, Johnny, I bet you're great.
Hey! She's a burlesque dancer dom.
Okay. That's great for you, Johnny. You're so hot. You're just like so unstoppably
Leon,
sexy. You're like the.
It's all about control.
Whenever Johnny says one of our names in that tone, I feel like I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Just the manager and owner of the Boner Factory, Johnny. So
We're gonna unionize and
Please.
take over the boner factory.
Oh, then you're gonna have to come to Canada to get it.
Okay, next question.
Oh, we could get it.
Cyretha at LS Blackwood asks, Leon, do you think the WWE will treat this new batch of wrestlers coming up from NXT better than the last batch? Parentheses?
No.
Rest.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I don't. I feel like I'm phasing out of watching WWE for a while. I think I might just watch a little Japanese stuff just for funsies. I don't know.
You were on a break for like a while there. I feel like you just came back from your break.
Oh, you mean for a few weeks at last year. Yeah. I couldn't get back into it when I tried. So I think I'll just stop. I might watch the Royal Rumble though. I'll just find a way to watch it.
Crime?
Yeah, it's fine. I have a VPN. It doesn't matter.
You're under arrest. This has been the longest sting operation of my life, but it's finally come to fruition. I have you. This whole podcast is a sting. You're under arrest.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, I have no faith in WWE. They're all scoundrels.
That's a good word. Thank you for calling someone a scoundrel.
Hulkamaniac?
Oh my. Next.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Next.
Yeah.
Let's see. Taria Gale at the Xenochrist asks, how did Johnny become so handsome? Can I grow up to be as beautiful as him? What's your tips, Johnny? Do you work out? What's your regimen?
Well, I mean, I do kung fu.
Mm-hmm. It's all kung fu? It's all punches.
Do you? Sorry. Go ahead.
Nice.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But, like, I guess that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to yourself. Enjoy baths. Soak yourself up. Moisturize. Condition your hair.
This is just like that Jordan Peterson clean up your room stuff.
No,
Just-
no, like, the problem with Jordan Peterson is, like, clean up your room. Grow a beard and fuck off. Like, no, like, take pride in the person that you are.
What if I don't want to take pride in myself and I just want to get jacked? Can you tell me how to do that?
Work out.
Yeah, but that sounds hard. I feel like most like life advice comes down to like, you know that thing you absolutely know you should be doing? You should do that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Austin, is that there are aspects of my personality that don't match up with how men feel.
Oh, are we getting into the Razor commercial now?
No.
That's hot news.
No, I don't care what fucking Pepsi says about joting the conversation.
Jesus.
I'm saying, like, have several pairs of shoes for, like, casual or formal or just when you want to impress someone.
I actually own 2 pairs of shoes for like the first time that I can remember, probably since I played football when I had cleats. I actually do have like formal shoes now.
Yeah.
For the first time ever. So
Yeah.
And
I've
so when you have an occasion, you can go, them. That's them.
yeah. What if I just get super back into working out, guys? What if I become the jacked one on the show? Would that change our dynamic too much? Would I ruin Wordfunk if I was the sexy one?
Nah, I mean, it would just devalue me more. I think it would raise your stock, and then like there would be like a comparativism.
Austin. Austin.
Yeah. Me.
Getting jacked is not the only element of being sexy.
No, it's true. I just don't know if I can pull off any of the other stuff. I know I can get jacked. I can't control like my face or my dick or any of that stuff, but I can get jacked.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about all this. I'm motioning towards my face.
Yeah.
So, you know. I mean, yeah.
And I have been before, and it is extremely good. I don't know, we've probably talked about this before, but people treat you differently when you're, like, got it going on. It's like being a completely different person. I've been extremely heavy, and I've been extremely sexy, and it's like being a different species entirely as far as your, like, social interactions.
Even the difference of wearing a button-up shirt is something.
Yeah, wearing a suit made me feel very powerful. Leon, that's your area of expertise. You love suits.
I used to wear a lot of suits. I don't anymore, though. I don't appear on camera wearing one, and I certainly don't. I'm not a teacher anymore. But I do own a bunch of suits just because I do convention appearances. So I have like I have like 2 proper suits. Well, no, I have more like 3. But I break them out like once a year when the place that hires me to talk says go do it.
What do you wear when you're like editing your videos? I always think of like the Rene Magritte, my favorite painter. He was like apparently every morning got up, put on a full 3-piece suit to paint.
That is nonsense and stupid.
I think he's got style. I love that dude.
No, I'm sorry, but like I don't dress up just for myself. That I don't know how else to put that. If I'm in my home, I'm either naked or I'm just wearing like a comfortable pair of pants. That's more.
I know.
It.
I know.
I shouldn't say
Leon,
I don't dress up for.
The presence you exude is dignified.
Okay, cool.
Leon loves to exude.
I shouldn't say that I don't dress up for anyone because like I do go out and I do try to look nice and I'm not going out with anyone. So I guess in a way I do dress up just for myself. But not in my own home. I'm not putting on...
dress up at home. I have a silk smoking jacket and silk pants.
He's committed to the lifestyle. He's on that Rene Magritte shit, and I'm 100% into it, and I've decided this conversation has convinced me I'm going to get jacked again.
It's
decided.
Good.
And then,
give us
Austin,
updates.
when we meet, I will punch you in the nuts.
Oh, no!
It's to establish dominance. Yeah. That's what that is.
But what if my nuts are super jacked? Next question.
Okay.
Zoxion, that Zoxion1 asks, are you more worried about automation under capitalism, or as you are excited about how it may pave the way for a better system in the future?
Automation won't work because the only way capital returns to the 1% is if people pay for it.
Explain. I mean, automation should bring operating costs down, which is good for the 1%.
Yeah.
So they will just consolidate. I think, are you saying that then people won't be able to work and afford the goods? Because there will always be a market.
Yep.
They'll just bring the prices down.
That's what I'm saying. Will there always be a market?
The natural endpoint of capitalism is one person with all the money. That if that's what you're talking about, yeah, like eventually we'd have to get there, but obviously there would be, maybe that's not obvious. I would say at some point we would have to revolt because we can't just have one person with the money. That's bananas. But the problem isn't automation itself. It's society's inability to cope with automation. Automation in a vacuum is dope as hell. No one needs to work anymore. We're on that Star Trek shit. Automation is capital G good. It's that people aren't mentally, like psychologically fucking prepared for it is bad because we all have this monstrous Protestant work ethic.
We need universal
income. Thing that matters. Yeah, obviously. So am I worried about automation? No, I'm worried about people being inflexible and closed-minded. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh my God, I'm gonna keep trying to fight the future, but I'm worried.
I don't want to fight the future. I want to fight the people who aren't letting the future happen. Those people suck.
Oh,
okay,
Austin, let's cuddle.
Yeah.
No. By the way, by fight the future, I was not just referencing the X-Files movie. I was I'm referring to the catastrophic things that are expected to happen. I just I'm trying to stay positive, but like
Leon, we're not talking about climate change.
I understand that, but that is also the fault of capitalism. So when everyone's saying like, capitalism might be on its way out because of all of these reasons, and I'm like, oh, neat, better happen tomorrow. Because the idea that we're in late capitalism and that we're it's only a matter of time before people demand something better, and that there is this slow kind of like incremental revolution of sorts would be very exciting if I thought we had a lot of time, and I'm worried that we don't. Sorry to bring us down.
Don't worry. Okay. Austin and I will come for you. He'll be super jacked. I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
We'll be a team.
I don't know. I just...
As the last city disappears beneath the waves, the final person at the highest point in the city will look out on the destruction and say, at least my taxes were low, and then they'll be consumed.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Juho Nevalainen at Nevalainen Juho asks, thoughts about Trump's burger buffet?
I have like a lot of different takes.
Yeah, I know, this is exciting.
They're all over the place. So here's the thing. The way you approach this non-story is always going to be problematic, because if you're like Burger King and McDonald's, what a bunch of shit, I can't believe it. That's that in a way that's sort of classist. Some people have to subsist on super cheap food.
I'm down with fast food.
Just okay. The other problem with that is if you try to defend McDonald's and Burger King, you're also defending McDonald's and Burger King, which are not great companies that treat their employees super well.
What I want to know is why they didn't have the Rick and Morty sauce.
Shut the fuck up. Die in acid. But yeah, there's no good way to talk about this. That is what I'm trying to say. It's like a funny story, but here's the thing. Like Trump knows exactly what he's doing. He's trolling people. His supporters are going to love him more for it because they're going to see people criticizing him for it, and the people who support him are going to say, "See, they're all elitist. They don't know what it's like to have fries." It's like that's not the issue. The issue is that you expect something more from the White House. That's more or less.
It's interesting that you give him enough credit to say like, oh, he's trolling. I just think he likes McDonald's. Like he's on record getting like 3 Big Macs a day.
Hey.
One of my favorite stories is that during the campaign, he went to McDonald's, and one of the people who worked for him, I want to say it was like a lawyer or a strategist or something, asked for like a special order, and Trump just got like, I guess, impatient and fucking abandoned that man at the McDonald's and just left, which is like a huge move.
Look, all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't just McDonald's. They had Wendy's. And Domino's Pizza. And
what I'm trying to say
sauces.
Okay. I'm not saying Trump is playing 4D chess. I'm saying that as a bully, everything he does aims towards the goal of hurting people. And I'm pretty sure that when doing this, he also thought, I bet my detractors will hate this. That's just going to make people love me more, because fuck them. I hate everything and myself. So that is almost certain. I believe that. I wouldn't say that was part of the equation, because that suggests that there was a lot of calculus involved. I just think that is part of his blunt way of doing everything that he does.
Yeah, I looked it up. It was campaign aide Sam Nunberg who Trump abandoned in a McDonald's. It's just a real great thing that actually happened on planet Earth. The president of the United States abandoned a campaign aide in a McDonald's because he took too long. Just an absolute fucking monster we have at the head of this fucking place cannot even extend common courtesies to the people who support him. Like, obviously he's extremely bad to people who want kindness in the world, but he can't even pretend to care about the monsters around him? You'd think you want those monsters on your side.
Yeah. Yeah, Trump is a different kind of monster than all the war criminal presidents we've had before, because there is just out of a sense of self-preservation, there is a sense of at least superficial decency that they at least portrayed in themselves, or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just the thing where even the worst monsters of history had a few like humanizing traits. It doesn't mean there weren't monsters. It just means they were people. Yeah. Whereas Trump isn't quite that. I don't know.
There's an alternate version of this where we have like a working class president who invites some people over to the White House and they just have like working class food. That actually thinks of if not just like a cool story, just the kind of person I actually want. And it's like just this fucking Twilight Zone wrongness to what is almost cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
know what you mean.
Not opposed to the concept of burgers as good food.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm trying to say.
Amazing goddamn burgers.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
But to have... and they were cold, too.
You would think so. I mean, if they were sitting there that long for the photo op and everything to prepare.
Yeah,
like,
there's
not
like
even
1,000 little things, right? Where it's like, oh, this is the college football champions. They're like a predominantly black team, and he's like, oh, I'm going to give them. What I think the quote was like, "Great American food" or something, and it was just like, oh, here's a bunch of cold, cheap shit. Because I shut the government down like a fucking baby. And it's just like a stack of 1,000 indignities where it's like, if this was just a slightly cooler person, he could have just like, yo, I'm going to grill some shit. You guys want to come over? Like that would have been dope. It's so close to being dope.
Yeah, and his most ardent supporters did in fact adopt his "this is real American food" thing just as expected. Like there's a picture of Ben Shapiro and his terrible body.
Does it come with his special voice?
Oh God!
Oh my God! So anyway, there's that. I am both looking forward to and also dreading 2020. Because if it goes well enough, then I'll be pleased. But the run up to it has already begun, and I'm worried that we're going to have kind of a logjam because already there's like 8 declared candidates, and there's at least 10 more who are considering it, and we're going to have this thing that the Republicans did in 2016. Where they had like the regular debates and like the junior varsity debates where the guys who couldn't crack the top 10.
I mean, the idea of a logjam is just theater, right? Like this is a classic kind of press story. Is like, oh, the Democrats are fighting each other again. It's like, listen, there was a shit show in the last election on the right, and they ended up winning. So just like, don't even get your knickers in a twist. At the end of the day, we're all going to vote for whoever is against Trump.
No, of course. But the thing I'm saying about that, I don't care that Democrats are going to be debating each other. They're supposed to. I'm just saying that it's going to be personally exhausting for people such as myself who follow politics, because I want to stay informed, and because of this desire that is perhaps unnecessary, I'm going to have to keep learning more about these people.
Nah, man, find the leftmost candidate, get on their train car, and then put your glasses down, your dark sunglasses over your eyes, and just don't look up. Just stay on that train.
Time to roll.
I wish it were that simple, but there's like 3 who could conceivably be that. It's just that they're not. There's none of them. Thing about a lot of politicians, or all politicians, is that you can't really trace them on like the political compass in terms of like you can't like calculate exactly how left this person is on this issue.
It's true, Leon. People develop.
That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that they are also controlled by interests. And so a guy like Bernie Sanders, who you would think is the leftmost candidate, also has not the most left positions on gun control, not the most left positions in terms of foreign policy. And it's like, oh, so maybe he's not. So what about Elizabeth Warren? Well, she
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone asked, I think last week,
I'm
what we
talking
thought about Elizabeth Warren. I didn't ask that question, but it's like, if she hadn't gotten bullied into being fucking complicit in this disgusting race debate, like, I would have been pretty psyched about her, but that was embarrassing, and I don't know. I'm a white guy. Don't fucking listen to my opinion. Listen to the actual Native American people who are out there saying that what she did was just literally disqualifying.
I'm Canadian, so I'm shutting up.
Yeah. There's if you're looking for a third lefty candidate, there's always Sherrod Brown. But here's the thing about Sherrod Brown: the only way that he's going to rise to the top is if people dismiss the two other left candidates who people already know really
Bernie,
well.
Bernie.
One of whom is very popular, the one that Austin is chanting like a madman.
The most popular politician in America, according to most polls.
Right. That's what I mean. Or if he somehow fucks up real bad and or just decides not to run, which is I think only a small possibility at this point. Warren is certainly more famous than Brown, and a lot of that is just because the president loves to say racist things about kind of about her, but really just about Native Americans. Yeah. Anyway,
she was so close to having the moral high ground on that.
Oh God. Oh, they're all bad. Anyway, I can't help it. I'm sorry. This by the way, I'm sorry, but it's the year before election year, and this is all we're going to be talking about.
No, it's not. Listen, by percentage, there will be more politics, but it's still going to only be like 10% of every episode. Don't get it twisted. It's still going to be nerdy as fuck. We're still going to talk about every new superhero movie and all the video games. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll still talk about how hot Johnny is. And we're also going to have to start talking about how increasingly hot Austin becomes.
I've committed to this on air. I'm going to have to follow through with it or people are going to call me out now. This
Get
is good motivation.
jacked, Austin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't want to look like that. That's not how I envision myself. So that's not an option for me. Also, it would look weird with my face, I think. There's nothing I can do about the rest of this that it doesn't work. So it's fine. Anyway, anything you guys want to say right before we go? We've gone on a bit.
We have gone on a lot. I just want to say that there's one more question here. Ed D at EddieD_Dalmunda asks, I've acquired a large number of Magic the Gathering cards from a friend who is done with them, and I still don't know what they mean.
Done.
What do they mean? Magic Arena is free. You can download it. It has a good tutorial. You never have to pay anything. I have literally tens of thousands of the in-game currency at this point. It's the best way to get into the game, and also kind of teach you how you like to play. And then if you figure out that, you look at the cards your friend gave you, and then you just put a little deck together. It's good fun. They should pay me. We need to look into this. I feel I'm doing a lot of evangelizing.
What? You, me, Netflix, Wizards of the Coast.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sexual loop that...
Okay.
What? What?
Johnny was fucking
right.
on his shit this episode.
Now that your rose is